Good afternoon. It looks like whatever Bussy and Disabel regime is most definitely upset did not want my video to upload that I just did. So I do hate to bother you, but I am absolutely going to say exactly what I was just saying. So let's start from the top. And the order, hey, let it go like it goes. So I was wondering from President Joe Biden, what is he going to hold these justices, these judges, these representatives accountable for not abiding by the law, abiding by Constitution, abiding by the rules of the Congress and law of the land and our Constitution. I've said it forward and backwards. It still mean the same thing. It still makes sense. And so I was wondering if he was going to hold them accountable, because if he does not hold them accountable, then that would mean that they're basically, people can just do what they want to do. As I was given an example about Comer yesterday in the House of Representatives, who could not keep Miss Green in order. And Miss Green was told, she was asked to apologize. She did not want to apologize. She was asked to strike her comment. She did strike her comment, but she did not apologize. So, with that, you can't make anyone apologize. But if that's a rule, if that's a law, that's different. That's different. But if it ain't one, she shouldn't have had to apologize. So that's what I don't know. But what I do know is, because he could not get her in control, because she was not willing to follow the rules that we know is the rules, know the rules to be, which is to be respectful, which is to be professional, and she couldn't do that. And so it was still allowed. He didn't take action like he was supposed to. Therefore, chaos arose, where then Miss Crockett had to go ahead and sit her down, get back with her, because people do that all the time. They like to throw rocks, they like to hide. They don't like something to be did to them, but they like to do it to other people. They're oppressors and suppressors at the end of the day, but let me go on and go forth. He should have most definitely did a better job with de-escalating the situation, because there is a rule, and so that's important. That's why it's important for people to be accountable for this. And so I was wondering from President Joe Biden, since he's the one to appoint judges, such as the judges on the Supreme Court, when are they going to be held accountable for their actions of wrongdoings? We don't know about well, let me just stay away from that, because I don't think I just said that the last time, but I'll say it this time. When are they going to be held accountable for their wrongdoing? If it's obvious that they have hate, they're attached to hate. What kind of hate? Hate that you know that something is wrong. You know something is not right, but you'll let it go. You'll let what's wrong be free, and what's right be oppressed and suppressed, just for gain, recognition, whatever it is. And so with that being said, because the president of the United States appoint these justices, he should have the power to remove them, as I know that he does, especially when you find things on them. Because if that's not true, then what is former President Donald Trump doing in court? If that's not true. So, and I said, it's just important to hold people accountable for their wrongdoing. I saw that Governor Abbott released a racist military killer. Yeah. And I was saying that he should things like that that's being did unjustly. It's a problem. And just for you to be in charge, our commander in chief, when is enough to eliminate all this? I do want to acknowledge, and we cannot forget about how you are fits in infrastructure. That is very important. And some people don't think it's important until they're on the bridge and the bridge split in two. So we do thank you for your efforts, and we do support you with that. We do thank you for acknowledging the teachers and giving them a raise. We appreciate your efforts, and we support you for that. As well as another idea would be also, I hope that things go to computer technology as the world is advancing. Who said that? Yes, me, that really don't even get involved in all that, but I still think that it's important for the kids. Even when I was in school, we had computer technology and things like that to know at least the basics of what's going on, which is very important. I stress that other countries, their children are learning on a higher level. America used to be leading in technology and advancement and things like that. And now, it's not looking so good right now. Can't possibly with the way everything is going on. And so, we do appreciate you recognizing the teachers, and teachers still need to be held accountable, by their curriculum, what they're teaching these kids on the level, is more than just the sports they play and etc. They actually need to be doing their schoolwork. Teachers cannot do everything by themselves. The parents do need to be involved as well. I believe that is very true. It takes a team, at the end of the day. And so with that being said, a strong relationship to make sure, these kids are doing great. And so, I commend you for all that. But, the main concerns are most definitely what's going on with the economy. If it's just a side of, one side don't want the other side to have nothing, so we'll just blow up our whole nation just because, and stop things from happening just because we want who we want, to be in charge. We've seen this with the border bill. The Democrats were ready to come up with a bipartisan bill. Republicans was on board to do this thing in a bipartisan way, but it did not happen like that because of the holdup. The holdup was because of one person, former President Donald Trump, who did not want the border bill passed, who overturned Roe versus Wade, all this on his behalf. Just get rid of all's freedom, their justice, everything, just because I don't want it. That is the danger of being under an oppressor and a suppressor. And what is it going to take? What is it going to take right now to show people that when they vote, they're just not voting for nothing? They are voting because this nation is going to be revised. This nation is going to go in the right direction. We have been through a lot of challenges as a nation. We have been through a lot of things as a nation. And to go back to those things would be very ignorant, would be very irrelevant. To lose your whole country just because two wicked sides can't get it right. It has to be some type of foundation, some type of way that, it can be agreed upon, that we can go forward and do better. And if not, please let the people know. I think it's important for these leaders that govern over people that's in leadership to be held accountable for their wrongdoing. If they don't like people, they don't like a certain race, but they're in a leadership of a judge, they need to be held accountable for that. How can you ever, give justice in truth? How could you ever be for liberty and justice for all, even if that little simple thing bothered you? I talked about the simple and the petty things, even with Representative Boebert saying that former President Donald Trump wasn't sleeping. He was sleeping. But this is the extent of lies that likes to be covered. And it's no reason for a lie that small to be covered. Any lie, period. But that, you couldn't tell the truth about he was sleeping? And you'll have to hear from him, and if he really was, that will be from out of his mouth and what he has to say. It's not for anybody to really, he could speak for himself. But why lie over something that's simple? And imagine something very serious, very severe. And then you go and lie like that? And these are the people that govern and lead over us? It's not acceptable. So I think that's what people are pretty much worried about right now, President Biden, in addition to, the economy. When are these justices that's supposed to be for the law, by the law, for the people, by the people? When are they going to be held accountable? And I also said if a president can appoint judges, he should most definitely be able to remove them if they're not doing their job. He shouldn't be able to just remove them for no reason. Oh, no. And people already know I don't agree with people being removed for no reason at all. Just no reason at all. You want to remove somebody because they disagree with you? Get out of here with that. I'm not talking about that. But that's what a president that's, immature, a president that wants to oppress and suppress people with a dictator mentality will absolutely do. And no one will have a job. So my thing for President Biden is if we are on the brinks of maybe even being faced with something like that, wouldn't you want to go ahead and clean the house and just start holding people accountable for not doing their job? Because we do know that they do have to do their job. And I don't know all the house rules and how it really works, but I do know one thing, anything that shows so much prejudice, we know that that's legal because that's in court. Anything that's just so much bias instead of unbiased when it comes to judgment, we know that that's not legal. Even a lower court, we know that. So we're just asking that, people that's in authority in these positions that make decisions, that they be held accountable to do what's right. Because if they're not going to be held accountable, that doesn't bring, that isn't good for the citizens at all. Because who do we really have for us when the vote is already passed through? Who do we really have for us? At the end of the day, what is our nation going to look like if no one's held accountable for their wrongdoing? And and like I said, what Governor Abbott did, releasing the racist military man, is that, his sign is the significance in that to be, it doesn't matter what they did, he deserves a pardon. So former President Donald Trump can get a pardon. By him doing that, that signifies, and the significance to that to other judges is it don't matter what kind of racist crime, what kind of hate crime somebody does, they need to be free. Judgment needs to be held accountable when you want to lead and be a governor over people. It's your choice to be racist, but if you can't do what's right at the end of the day, you don't have to like me. But you should be held accountable for doing right by me if you're going to govern over me, if you're going to lead over me. Where's the accountability? And that's what we're looking for, even with these 5 months left. What is this? We hear the the cry and the need for voting. We do, but how are they going to be held accountable? When are they going to be held accountable? Because they've already finger painted and showed all they will not. They refuse to do what's right if it's absolutely against what they want, and that is injustice, and that is not right. So I said a lot of things in the other live. I mean, in the other video upload. It's unfortunate that I won't be able to have it because Abisi or Dissy absolutely got upset. Oh, I did want to say that some things just happen. Some things intentionally happen. People intentionally do things to you. I was talking about how all people, I'm sure they are exhausted and burned out from long hours of court or long hours of work or long hours of emotional and mental battles. I'm sure they are exhausted. I was talking about how Miss Hilton got up with those, at the last ending of trial today, and how she almost failed. I talked about how the defense should most definitely look into that 1990 number. She reclassified the number of the evidence. She reclassified the number for some reason. What was her purpose of doing it? I don't know. But she was focused on that 1990 number, and she also, you know, she pointed that out yesterday during her examination. After she had already did an examination and Mr. Steele did a cross examination, she did a recross. And when she did a recross, she pointed out how the 1990 number or a number was different. It might have not been the 1990 number, but she pointed out a number was different from, I guess, the report Mr. Steele had. And for her to come in there last minute, which she can come last minute because, like I said, maybe, I don't know what she was doing. She may have had other obligations. That would be speculation, so I can't say too much, give too much interpretation about it. But I will most definitely say that when she came in with those to reclassify those documents and almost fail, that was a sign that you may need to look into that. And she could have just almost failed. She could have been tired, XYZ. I ain't gonna run through it again, but that's my, vision on it. So that's what that is. I will look into that because the state have been doing some slick things over there in that trial and don't have a case. And like I say, I guess they're gonna patch it up as they go or make stuff into whatever, because when you really have something, it goes in order. Even if one thing is out of order, it should still flow to where you have a solid case where it shouldn't even have to take all this time. Your witnesses are witnesses, so on and so forth. That's just it. That's all. So, and evidence is evidence. I was talking about how Detective Ricey took the time out to draw out a longitude and latitude correspondence to how he was able to target, how the cell phones was being pinned off the towers. And I said that you could be within a vicinity and still not be at a direct location for their for the cell phones to be going off the tower. They could have, you may place them here at a shooting, but they could have very well just been in a vicinity, going to a restaurant, going to somewhere by there, a hotel, maybe, some, you don't know where they went to at the end of the day. So I didn't know the purpose with that. And then I also talked about those thick reports, that thick packet of reports. I really do believe it was just only the 4 pages originally, just because, he really didn't do a in-depth investigation from the sounds of everything. He didn't, and it was, it's really crazy because he had these gang experts that had no reports, and their reports were supposed to be, I guess, submitted with that thick packet of paper but anyways, I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to go ahead and go forward to say just, you know, I just wouldn't, at this point, I am convinced that that's just not a solid case, with the evidence that has been provided and hearing from the witnesses, so on and so forth. It's just really nothing. And the defense just should be prepared in case they try to make a case, out of it, in any way. So, even with what you've been seeing thus far. So that's my commentary on that, because the defense have most definitely been whooping them. And not only had the defense whoop them yesterday, it's also evident that it's just no that from everything we all has been seeing and saying, is nothing there. Period. A lot of speculation, a lot of hearsay, from social media. I understand that they looked and they was, because some content can be credible depending on a person, because you look, I already said what I said per the other lives, so I mean per the other videos, so I won't even go into that. But I think I've pretty much talked about everything. I may have left some things out, but it will most definitely have to be okay, because I already know that it was heard anyway, since my content goes out like that. And that's what I was gonna say as well about the WhatsApp data and everything like that. I find that odd, because whatever Bussy and Disabel regime that's been watching me, I do feel like they have had access to a couple of my, my little FaceTime calls and so on and so forth, because it goes straight to social media in some type of way. And so if it happens to me like that, I'm sure it could be some type of access granted to get some other things. But he said it doesn't work like that, and I'm on the outside looking in, so I don't know. But I just know not a real thorough report was completed on behalf of this case, and that's why it's taking so long. Okay. So I think that's all that I'm gonna say. I think I've said everything. I think I said everything. And if I forgot, it just is what it is. Just be true, stay true in all you do. We are praying. I said yes, pray for President Joe Biden, and pray for him, and not PREY on him. And I said, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. It shall not, it cannot, it will not. And that's what we do believe. And so, with that being said, enjoy your weekend. Stay out of trouble. Stay focused. And, you know, believe in spite of the odds. So, yeah, enjoy. We'll see if this one recorded.